Hakadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Yomi Daf Kufchet Amud Aleph 108A1. We're just going to start though on the Mishnah on 107B. Says the Mishnah, Dora Mabul en lahem chelek l'olam ba. You have a Gemara over there, no? Dora Mabul do not have a chelek l'olam ba. Ve'en omdim badin, and they don't also, they will not come back to Tchiyat HaMetim. Shneimar lo yadunu chi ba'adam le'olam, lo dim lo ruach. Dora Palaga, right? You know what Dora Palaga is, yeah? Dora Palaga is, so Dora Mabul was the generation of the flood. Dora Palaga was after that. It was the generation of the Tower of Babel, of Babylonia. Dora Palaga in lahem chelek l'olam ba. Shneimar v'yafet asher dodam el pnei chol haaretz. Tim mishav evitzam v'yafet asher dodam el mazeh mishav evitzam le'olam ba. Anshe Zedom don't have olam haba. Shneimar ve'anshe Zedom ra'im chatim l'Hashem meod. Ra'im is ba'olam hazeh. Chataim le'olam haba. But they get Tchiyat HaMetim. Rabbi Nechemia argues and he says, no, Anshe Dora Mabul and Anshe Zedom, the en omdim badin, they don't get Tchiyat HaMetim. Shneimar al ken lo yakumu rishayim b'mishpat, chataim b'adat tzadikim, al ken lo yakumu rishayim b'mishpat is Dora Mabul, chataim b'adat tzadikim is Anshe Zedom. Amrulo, they said, what are you talking about? En omdim b'adat tzadikim, but omdim b'adat rishayim. They're not going to come lati lavo for the tzadikim, but they're going to come with the rishayim. That means they will get it, but with the rishayim. The meraglim, this is in brackets, that they don't get chelul bash. So that's in brackets. Okay? Next. Dora Midbar, generation of the desert. Yeah? You know the meraglim more, yeah? The spies, the one that is. Okay, fine. No, but it's in brackets. Many, those type of brackets usually don't read, because they're in round brackets. The round brackets usually don't read. You skip out. You only read the square brackets, the parentheses. Okay? It says over there that in this desert they're going to be finished and there they're going to die. These are those Akiva. So according to Rabbi Akiva, right, they don't get Chelul Olam Ba because it says Itamu and Yamutu. Why does it mention two synonyms for destroying? Because they're not going to get Olam Ba. Right? So he says, what does that mean? So he says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made them a treaty. So therefore, for the fact that it's fuli means that they're going to gather to me. It means that they do get Olam Haba. At that Korach, they're not going to come up from where they were swallowed. Shneimar, the land covered them up. That's in this one. They were destroyed in Olam Haba. These were Zukibah. Rabbi Eliezer Omer on him, it says, he brought them down to the Sheol, but he's going to bring them up. So again, in each time of these things, you keep on seeing that there's a machloket. Rabbi Akiva kept on saying whether it's going to be by the Motzei Dibat Haaretz or Adat Korach, that they do not get nada. They don't come back, right? But according to Rabbi Eliezer, they do. There's the Gemara. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to the Braita. Dora Mabul elaim chelek olam haba. The generation of the flood, they're not going to get chelek olam haba. Shneimar vayamoch et vayimach et kol hayikum asher pnei adama. That it's going to erase, right? All the Yekum, all the I don't know, you say Yekum in English, the world, right? The universe, okay. The universe, which is Al Pnei Adama. Vayimach et kol hayikum is ba'olam hazeh, vayimach min haaretz le'olam haba. These are the words of Rabbi Akiva. So remember, again, every single time Rabbi Akiva has a double expression, so he keeps on saying it's olam hazeh and olam haba. Right? Rabbi Yudah ben Omer, no, lo chayim, they're not going to have a tchiyat hametim, ve'lo nidonin, and they're not even going to be judged in Yom HaDin HaGadol. Shneimar lo yadinu luchi ba'adam le'olam, lo dim lo ruach. Davar acher, another explanation, lo yadinu luchi, shelo teh nishmatan chozer lindana, to its natik. That means they won't come in olam haba. That means they're not going to get the tchiyat hametim because their neshama is not going to go back to their natik, to their pouch, or to their, which means the body. Rabbi Menachem Rabbi Yosef Omer, and the Menachem Rabbi Yosef says, "Afilu b'shat she'Kadosh Baruch Hu machzir neshama lifkei metim." Even when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do tchiyat hametim, nishmatan kashe lahem beginam. Their neshama is still going to be in ginam. Shneimar tiaru chashash teldu kash uchem esh tochalchem. Yeah, powerful words. Yeah, so mamash they sing ginam. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to the Braita. Dora Mabul lo nitgau ela bishvil tova shishpia lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You know why they were haughty? Some people, they get haughty, right? What does haughtiness mean? You know what haughtiness is. You're learning Torah Chaim, right? And the people, they come, they put up their noses and they start texting, I don't know who. Yeah, fine. So he says the Dora Mabul, they were mitga'eh. They had haughtiness, right? In what? Because of the tovot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them so many good things, and then they come and they throw it in his face. Yeah, it's that's the way it is. What's written? Right, that's just like what happened to the woman. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him the woman, and what did he do? Kafar b'tovah. He says, why do I need this woman? She's a control freak. She's this, she's a that, she's a that. And then what happened? HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and he says, kafarta b'tovah. Now you're going to see what's going to happen now. Yeah? So that's exactly what happens. Umaktiv b'hem, what's written by them? It says, Batehem shalom mipachad, that there's not going to have any mazikim, right? Velo shevet, right? Elo alehem, and they're not going to have any puranut. Uchtiv, and it's written, Shoro ibar velo yagil, right? The shoro is going to become pregnant, right? And it's not going to be polet zera. Tefalet parato, the para is going to tolid. Velo teshakel, it's not going to be hapalot. It's not going to be any miscarriages. Uchtiv, and it's written, Nishalechu chatzon v'lehem, right? That they're going to come and they're going to have a lot of tzon. And they're going to be jumping around and laughing. That the metim are going down to Shaul, to the Sheol, to the Geinam, without any Yisurim. And that's what they caused. That they said, right? He says, so Amru, they say, what? Do we need a Kosh Baruch Hu? We need a Kosh Baruch Hu just for כאילו לטיפה של גשמים. יש לנו נהרות ומעיינות, we have rivers and water. אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא, בטובה שהשפעתי להם, בא מכעיסין אותי? I come and I give you something good. And with the good that I give you, you're going to come and you're going to use it against me? So he says, ובא אני דן אותם, so I'm going to judge them in the water. Because they said that כאילו we only need Hashem for water, for the rain. No, we don't need Hashem for the rain. We have rivers, we have everything. We don't need Hashem. So Akadosh Baruch Hu says, you don't need water. You don't need the rain. I'm going to judge you with that. I'm going to bring a mabul mayim. You understood? Incredible Gemara. Meaning that with the same tovah that Akadosh Baruch Hu gives you, many times you'll come and you'll use it against it. Right? And that, by the way, that's why you remember I told you that's teva of bnei adam. Many times people will come, right? And you remember Oziel Salanter, the Gombina, many others, when they used to come, they used to do a favor to somebody, they used to give them a few stones. He says, what are you doing? He says, well, when at least you're going to throw the stones at me, at least they're small stones, not big ones. Right? What does that mean? Many times you come and you do tovot, right? And they don't appreciate the tovot that people do for them. They come, they smack them with it. Akilu, they, said, no. Look, you have to recognize the good. Look how much good they did. Rabbi Yosef says, Dora Mabul lo nidgal b'shvil gilgal ha'ayin. Galgal ha'ayin. They were mitgaed. They were haughty because of the galgal ha'ayin shedomeh l'mayim, which is domeh to mayim. Right? They took all the women that they wanted. So too they're going to take with the water, which is basically, which is going to come from mayim, which is mekor katan, admaot, the galgalain, the eyeball. So he says the maot, they come from galgalain. Because basically they were going after their eyes and committing adultery. So ever since they were going after their eyes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished them with the tears that come from the eyes, which is going to be the water, right? So Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, Dora Mabul b'Rabba kilkilu b'Rabba nidonu. Right? They came and they did a Rabba, they did a lot. It was like a very powerful thing. Midam Ruba. So too they did a real. So Rabba kilkilu vayad Hashem ki Rabba ra'at adam. And it says nidonu b'Rabba, but it says kol ma'inot tom Rabba. That means since they did a lot, they got punished a lot. It was a lot with a lot. Okay. Next, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, Shlosha nishtaynu mehem, right? There were 3 of them, that were nishtaynu mehem, right? That were left over from them. Beloa de gader, chamet veya, veina rabati deviram. That means there's going to be 3 different mayanot that stayed behind. Chamet veya were not destroyed. Anyana rabata devira, which is the mayan gadol of Biram. What is Biram? Doesn't say. Okay, but basically it's 3 different bodies of water that they stayed. What does it say? It springs. But it doesn't say where they are. Okay. When they went and they did intermingling. What is intermingling? They brought the domesticated animals with non-domesticated wild animals, everyone on the human beings on the animals, everything. They did bestiality, they did everything. So therefore, Amar Rabbi Abba Barkana v'kulam chazru chutz mitushlami. Says everybody went back to their own species except for the tushlami, which he still goes with other animals. It's a type of a bird that it still goes with all these other things as well. That means the animals went back to have relations with the normal animals, each one with its species, except for the tushlami. I don't know. Everybody went back though to normals. Yeah. ויאמר אלוקים לנוח קץ כל בשר לפניי, אמר רבי יוחנן, בואו ראה כמה גדול כוחה של חמאס. Look how strong is Hamas. Did you just hear me? Look how strong is Hamas. שדור המבול עברו על הכל. דור המבול did all the עבירות, ולא נחתם עליהם גזר דינם שפשטו ידיהם בגזל. But they weren't judged until they did Hamas. right? They went and they stole. They did Hamas. Once they did Hamas, Gamarnu, Sof Pasuk. Yeah, Pasek. Yeah, they were cut off. It says, Shneimar, Ki Malaretz Hamas Mipernimim Shchitam Et Haaretz. וכתיב, it says, Hamas קם למטה רשע, לא מהם, לא מהם, לא מהם, ולא נוע מהם. So he says, אמר רבי אלעזר מלמד, שזקף עצמו כמקל. חמאס כביכול, they wanted to mean themselves כמקל, ואמר לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, ואמר לפניו ריבונו של עולם, לא מהם ולא מהמונם, ולא מהם, לא נוע מהם. Meaning not from their money, not from anybody's money. Right? ועל אף על נוח נחתם זה הדין, שנאמר לו נוח בהם. Noach is like Noach בהם. So it's mashma that he was also going to be hit from the Mabul. Obviously, again, this is in brackets. Tana Rabbi Ishmael. Af al Noach nechtach zadin ela shematzah chem b'nei Hashem. Really, bemet, Noach should have also been killed. But he found been killed. He should have been gzardin. He should have been destroyed. But matzah chen b'nei Hashem. He found favor in the eyes of Hashem. Ki asitim v'Noach matzah chem. Because it says nichamti gasitim v'Noach matzah chem b'nei Hashem. Meaning only because of the mitziyut chen he was saved. But if it wasn't, there would have been kaddish also for Noach, even though he didn't sin. Because of what?
Why? What did he do?
Because of everything else. Because everyone else was sinning.
No, but what did he do that he not buried?
He says like this. So he says, "Vayinachem Hashem ki asa et ha'adam ba'aretz ki ata Rav Dimi." When Rav Dimi came from Eretz Yisrael, Amar, he said, "Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu, Yafeh asiti shetikanti lehem kvarot ba'aretz." It's good that I made them kvarot, right? And they were buried in the aretz. What does that mean? He destroyed all the Reshaim and they were all buried. What does that mean? It says, they spoke to their hearts. So therefore, just like over there, as Hashem nichem et atzmo, that he did well, that he actually buried them in that. It's just like Yosef was menachem the brothers after the death of Yaakov Avinu. Some people say, Lo yafeh asiti. It's not good that I went. He was mitcharet, but he brought them to be buried ba'aretz. Right? Because if they were alive, maybe they would have done teshuvah. Which means that just like by Chet HaEgel they did teshuvah, so to here maybe they would have done teshuvah, meaning that if I would have left them alive, maybe they would have done teshuvah. Remember, we always try to get people to do teshuvah. It's a little bit difficult, because usually Avirah Gurudat Avirah. So once, 1, 2, like it's very, Exactly. He said it, he took it right out of my mouth. Yeah, it's mamash. It's very, yeah. So, yeah, fine. Next. Ele Toledot Noah, Ish Sadiq. Are you listening? Noach, Ish Sadiq. Right? Tamim haya bedorotav. Amar Rabbi Yochanan bedorotav. Velo bedorot acharim. Right? In his generation, not another generation. Ki shamar bedorotav, kol shkem bedorot acharim. This machloket, by the way, is brought down in Rashi. Rashi ala Torah, when it says that some rabbis say this way and some rabbis say that way, that's this Gemara. Remember, Rashi always brings down whether it's Gemarot, Midrashim. So this is this Gemara. So therefore, there's a machloket. Was he only a tzaddik in his generation, but if he would have put in another generation, he would not have been tzaddik? Or do you say no, that he was in a tzaddik in his generation? Kol sheken, if he was in a different generation, he would have been even a bigger tzaddik. Amar Rabbi Chanina, says Rabbi Chanina, Mashal Rabbi Yochanan. Mashal Rabbi Yochanan, what is it compared to? Lechavit shel yain. Sha'ita munacha b'martef. You have a barrel of wine which is placed in the martef, in a cellar of wine. Shel chometz, right? Of chometz. Bimkoma recha nodef. In its place of the chometz, it smells. Shalom command. It's not in place. It doesn't smell anything. So too, the ki'ilu, right? The tzidkut of Noach was only bidorotav because there was a lot of reshaim. But if he wasn't there, it wouldn't been anywhere. It's like a type of a good bisamim. It's like good perfume. That was in a bad place. He says, if you put it in another place, it even smells even better. Meaning here, it's just because there's so much garbage around you, right, that it smells, but at least it smells a little bit good. He says, but if you would put it in another place where there's no bad smells, it would smell even better. So that's the either or of the things in a sense. He says, 1 second, why are you going to get rid of the animals? The human beings sin, not the animals. What happened? The guy comes, he prepares a chuppah for his son. All of a sudden, right, the son dies right before the chuppah. So what happens? The father comes and he gives away all the seudah. He said, I only did it for the son. Now that he died, why does he need a chuppah? So too, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, he comes and he says, why did he make the animals? For the human beings. But if he's going to get rid of the human beings, he has to get rid of the animals. What does he need the animals for? Yeah, it destroyed everything. But not the dagim shebayam. The dagim, the fish in the sea, were not destroyed. Okay? Darash, and that's going to be a very famous question. How could that happen? Here it says, it's mashma only al haaretz. But the dagim, they were never mashchi kol basar, so therefore there was a miracle that they weren't destroyed.
Because
Meaning they didn't do any averot. The animals did averot, but the fish did not do any averot. So because the fish did not do any averot, so therefore they were able to come and they were able to survive. That's why the fish survived.
that's why there's dagim, mazal dagim is the mazal that is plural.
Yeah, 100%. Darash Rabbi Yosef min Kisre. So Rabbi Yosef min Kisre was Doresh. What does it mean in the pasuk? Kalu al pnei mayim tekalel chelkata ba'aretz. מלמד שהיה נוח הצדיק מוכיח בהם ואומר להם. So he was telling them, זו תשובה. אם לאו הקדוש ברוך הוא מביא לכם מבול, he's going to bring, ומקפא נבלתכם על המים בכזיקים, and he's going to put their bodies right on the water. שנאמר קלו על פני המים. ולא עוד אינו נדע לשלוחים מהם כללה לכל באי עולם. It's going to bring a כללה שנאמר תכולה חלקתם בארץ. Right? לא יפנה דרך רמים. So imagine, he was telling them, do teshuvah. It's always like that, by the way. You know, people are always telling the people, do teshuvah, but people just don't want to do teshuvah.
They need to explain what is teshuvah.
So we tell them.
Do teshuvah, do.
Explain. Come to me, Shachri Michael Ravit every single day. Learn Torah. Start doing teshuvah. That's how you start. Yeah, that's how you start doing teshuvah. לא יפנה דרך כרמים, מלמד שהיו מפנים דרך לכרמים, אמרו לו, ומי מעכב, who's stopping it? מלאם פרידה אחת. It's one goes on one tzaddik. יש לי להוציא מכם, I'm going to take it out. Who is it? Metushelach. Meaning Metushelach had to still live in order, because only when he died, after the 7 days of the Avilut, that's when he brought the Mabul. Remember, Metushelach was the oldest living person in the world.
How old was
So says the Gemara, Kufchet Amud Bet, 108b. Yeah, to be or not to be. Are you listening? So he says, in Ken, if so, Lo nifne derech hakramim. So he comes and he says, we're not going to take from the kotzim, the barkanim, right? We're going to continue. Yeah, so Darash Rava comes and he says, what does it mean in Pasuk? Lapid buz, la'ashtut shanan, right? That they were sitting, dwelling in shanan, nachon lemuadei regel. They were prepared to do everything with their feet. He used to give them hard and musa. Noach was not coming and giving it. He was giving it to them hard on the head. He had to give it to them hard on the head. To the people of his generation. Yeah, you have to. You have to. Some people, if you don't give them hard on the head, they don't do nothing. Yeah, what goes around comes around. You think it stopped. They come, they're mevazeh oto. Why? Because then they get upset. Amrulo, they said, Zaken. Teva zulama, elderly guy. Yeah, old geezer. What is this teva for? Amar lahem, he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mevi alechem et amei mabul. He's going to bring a mabul. Amru, they said, mabul shel ma? Mabul shel esh. Yesh davar acher. Valita sham. If it's going to be fire, we could protect ourselves. If it's going to be water, he's going to bring it from the land. Shano shashiyot. We've got gushima barzel. We could cover it. Right? By Emet Aleph, if it's going to be Shemaim, Shalom Dovar ve'akav shemo. His name is Akav. Amli kesh shemo. It's like a sfog. They could just, get all the sponge. It just gets all the water. Amar lehem, he told them, he's going to bring it from in between your feet. And therefore you're not going to be able to save yourself. Shneimar, nachon muadei regel. So Tanya, we learned in the bright time, mea mabul kashim keshichvat zera. It was rotchim. It was like shichvat zera. It was warm, boiling, like shichvat zera. Shneimar, nachon muadei regel. Right, as it says in the pasuk. Amar Rav Chasta says Rav Chasta, berotchim kilkulu ba'avera. They did the avera with shichvat zera levatala. So therefore they were going to be burnt with Maim Rotchim. Exactly. Tivacha, and it's written over here, Vayashoku Amayim. Tivata Machamat Melech Shachacha. Right, the kas of the Melech was forgotten. So therefore, that's the kas of so too by the Mabul, the same thing. Meaning Mamash, it was Rotchim, it was burning.
Water that came out of the ground was burning.
Vayhile Shivata Yamim, it says it was for 7 days. Why 7 days? That's what I told you, the 7 days of Avelut of Metushelach. Lamedcha, to teach you, even the sped of a tzaddik is going to stop the purunut. Meaning here they were being maspidoto for 7 days. So this sped was stopping them for 7 days. Yeah? Davar acher. Yeah? Another explanation. Right? L'shivata yamin sheshina lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu seder b'reshit. He changed the entire seder b'reshit. Shayta chama yotzeh m'marav shekol b'mezach. The chama was going out in the west and setting in the east. HaKadosh Baruch Hu changed the entire world. Yeah, think about it. Where does the sun go out? Sun rises in the east, sets in the
West.
here it was in Afochu, and it wasn't the month of Adar. שקבע הקדוש ברוך הוא זמן גדול, ואחר כך, and afterwards, yeah, זמן קטן, a small period of time of 7 days. Maybe they would do teshuvah. דבר אחר, שבעת הימים שהתימם, מעין עולם הבא, he gave them like כאילו עולם הבא, כדי שידעו מה טובה מה נומן, in order to that they should know what it is. Meaning he let them taste what it is, עולם הבא, so afterwards he's going to tell you, by the way, you lost it. Because I was able to give you עולם הבא if you wanted to, but you guys just got rid of it. You completely destroyed it. מכל הבהמה הטהורה תיקח לך שבעה איש ואשתו, אישות לבהמה מאיתלה. I don't understand. You're going to take ish ואשתו. This is what? By animals it belongs in ish ואישה? That's by human beings, not by an animal. Oh, ish ואשתו. אמר שלום מנחם יונתן, מאותם שלא נברא, no, only the ones that didn't do averot. Meaning even the animals that were taken into the teva, it had to be an animal that was not done an averah. Because if it was an animal that was done with an averah, gamarnu. Even though it was done against the will of the animals. Because remember, here we're talking about the human... Which one? From birth. Yeah. No, he had 7 of all the pure animals. Ish v'ishto.
7 of each?
Of the pure animals. Ish v'ishto. You just read it. Mikol be'ema teora, tikach lecha shiva, ish v'ishto.
Snakes, though.
No, it had to be be'ema teora, not be'ema tmea. Be'ema teora. No, but there had to be be'ema teora, not temea. The non-kosher animals, it was only a male and a female. The kosher animals was 7-7. 7 males, 7 females. That's what's written in the Torah. You just read it. Yeah. Menayada. How did he know if the animal did an avirah or not? How did he know? אמר חסדה, העבירה לנוח לפני התיבה, כל התיבה כולתו בידוע שלא נדע בעבירה, כל שאינה כולתו בידוע שלא נדע בעבירה. ביבוא אמר, מאותן הבאים מעליהן. Says one thing. The first one, it was the teva. It had a security system. If they were able to go inside and they were able to stay, it means that they didn't do an avirah. If the teva would kick it out, they wouldn't, it would start ringing the bells, out. They weren't able to stay in the teva. That's the first answer. Second answer, the animals that came on their own. The animals that came on their own to the teva, they were pure. They had the instinct to come on their own. So Kadosh Baruch Hu made them come on their own. The ones that came on their own, they were the pure animals. The other ones, they were impure.
What if we see here?
100%. Everything.
Miracles.
Miracles. 100%, one after another. My gopher, what is gopher? Amravada, Amit Vishila, Zo, Mavligat. Mavligan. Some people say it's Golomish. Right? So these are different gopher, right? This is a tar or whatever it is exactly that they were doing. Tzohar. What is it, Tzohar, that they did that teva? Amar Yonata, Yochanan says, Yochanan, Noach. Kava ba'avadim tovot margaliot kadei shiyu meiro lachem b'tzaorayim. Says you're going to put a whole bunch of jewels inside the teva. You know why? It's going to become for you like it's going to make it light. Meaning that they made like an electricity system without electricity. And they made light. What was it? The jewels, the stones. The stones was their light. Right? What does that mean? He says the Gag was going to be Rochav Anama. He says the V'achiu Dekaima, Tachtim Shlim Shoshim Tziyah. That's how it's going to stay in the water. He says Tachtim Shlim Shoshim, you had 3 different floors. Tana Tachtim, the lower floor was Zevel, was the garbage. And Tzayim, the middle floor was for the animals. Belyonim, and the top floor was for the human beings. Vaishalach et ha'orev, he sent the orev. Amar Shakish, Teshuvah nitzachah teshuvah orev leNoach. The orev answered something incredible to Noach. He said, Amar lo, Rabbecha soneni. He says, Hashem hates me. Ve'ata soneni, you hate me. Hashem hates me. Mina teorin shiva, mina tevim shnayim. Because he only bringing for the pure animals 7, from the impure animals 2. And you hate me because you put shata maniach min shiva v'sholech min shnayim. He comes and he says, I don't understand you. If you have 7 animals of pure animals, and you have 2 of the impure animals, now you're going to send an animal to scout, to check what's going on. Who are you going to send? From the 7 or from the 2?
But there's no 7.
You don't want them. You don't want them. Why? There's pure birds.
What pure birds you have?
You eat birds, no? The Yonah, the Bnei Yonah. Afterwards, he sent the Yonah. He sent the Yonah afterwards. But first, he sent the raven.
What? Wait a second. You can eat Yonah?
Of course.
Pigeon.
It's a pigeon. It's a kosher animal. It's a kosher bird. Yeah. 1 minute. Aywa. 1 minute. So the question is, if you use common sense, why in the world are you going to come and send from the 2? You should send from the 7. Why? Because if one of them goes Kaddish, you still have another 6. But if one of them goes Kaddish as the 2, Kaddish, the entire thing is extinct. There's nothing else. It was 1 male, 1 female. So the raven told Noah, your master hates me meaning Hashem hates me, and because he only brought two, right? And you, Amy, was just sending one of the two out. So he says, "Im pogea bisar chama, sar tzina, lo nimtza olam chaseh b'riah achad." So now I'm going to become extinct. Or shema, or maybe lishti ata tzricha, maybe you want my wife. He told Noach, maybe you want my wife. So you're sending me out. The Rev said that. Maybe you want my wife. Amar lo rasha, bemutali ne'esarli, bene'esarli lo kol sheken. He went and he told them, Rasha, I'm not even allowed to be with my wife. Because remember, during the time of the Mabul, you weren't allowed to live with your wife. You weren't allowed to live with your spouse. Because when the entire world was bitzad, you're not allowed to have relations. Right? That's like a halacha. When the entire world is bitzad, you're not allowed to have relations. So he comes and he says, 1 minute. So he says, right, so if right now I'm prohibited even to my own wife, so to something which is prohibited to me, which is animals, that I'm not going to be permitted, obviously even not going to be permitted. So he says, Umenala and the true. How do we know that they weren't allowed to have relations in the Teva? It says, what does that mean? It's written, what does that mean? Did you realize that the first part of the pasuk, it said men by themselves and then women? One more time. You're going to come to the Teva, you and your children, and the women, your wife, and the wives of your children with you. Did you realize it made a pasek? It put a mechitza, right? Did you realize Babahaki? It puts a mechitza between the men and the women. You have the men on one side and women on the other side. But when they came out of the Teva, it says Sebina Teva, Tavi Shtecha, you and your wife. And then Umanecha and Shevanecha, and your children and their wives with them. So from then on, they were permitted to have Tashmish again. Okay, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. There were 3 people that they did have relations in the Teva. And it doesn't say what Eran just said. One more time, there are 3 people that did have relations in the Teva. V'kulam laku. Everybody was laku. Hakelev, ve'orev, ve'cham. The kelev, the dog, the orev, the raven, and Cham, the son of Noach. Kelev nikshar. The kelev from then on, he's going to be tied up, right? In order that he shouldn't come and he shouldn't damage, so we tie him to a chain. That's the kelev. Orev, rak. What does that mean? He has to be morik et zera mipiv lepia shel nekeva. Meaning the way that he has to do it is he does it through his mouth. I don't know, that's what's written here. It goes through the mouth. The zera goes through the mouth. Aywa.
No, but really.
Ravens into the
Exactly. Exactly, through the mouth. The semen comes through the mouth. Cham laka beoro. And Cham, he was hit with his skin. So that's why he had kush. Right? Because he had the relations in the Teva. So he sent a Yonah. He realized that the dida of the Ofot Teorim are always with the tzaddikim. But it says that the Yonah was with him. Because always the Yonah, the kosher animals were always with the tzaddikim. He took an alezait. Amar Rabbi Lazar, Amra Yonah lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says the Yonah in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam. It's better that my mezonot should be maror kazait, musurim yadecha, but in your hands, and they shouldn't be metukim midvash, but given to the hands of Basavat Vadam. My mashmadai taraf. How do you know that taraf means mezonot? Ichtiva trifeni lechem chukai. Lechem chuki. Okay? Lemishpechotehem yatzu min teva. So they came out of the teva with their families. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, lemishpechotam. What does that mean? They came with their families. Velohem, and all with everyone together. What does that mean? Not everybody was able to eat in the same avus. Each mishpacha had to eat it separately, and they were eating by themselves. Amar Rav Chana bar Bizna, Amar le Rabbi Elazar. Right? Sorry, Eliezer l'shem Rabbah. Eliezer Eved Avram comes and he says to Shem Gadol, K'tiv l'mishpachoteim yatzu min hateva, atun hechana vutun. He says, where were you guys exactly? How were you able to have mizonot? And how were you able to do it? Amaleh, Tsar Gadol, we had a lot of tsar. But Yasha dakal achila b'yom yechelon l'yom, dakal achila b'layla yechelon b'layla. Hi Zakita, there was a birya which was called Zakita. It's an off katan. That's like a salav. Lo yada ba'aba amar muchla. He didn't know what it ate. Yom achad avayati v'kapale rimona. He opened up a rimon. Nafal tolat aminan. It came out on a tolat. Achla, he ate it. So from then on, he had the mind. Kimitla, when he used to have the tolaim, that's what he used to eat. Aryeh ishta zinte. The Ari, he became sick. Meaning that only because the Aryeh, he got sick and he was hot, so he was getting from the chom, that's how he was getting his food. So that's why he didn't eat all the other animals. Because if not, the lion should have eaten all the other animals.
miracle.
He did. It was a miracle, obviously. Huh? He got a chum. He was sick.
Fever?
Yeah. Damar Rav says Rav lo batzil mishita devlo tfei mitreisar zayne ishta. He says en lecha chom kal shelo tuchal chamitu lozon et החולה למשך 6 ימים שלא ימות לא מאכל משתה. ואין לך חום שיכול לזון את החולה יותר מ-12 יום. So he says וכל זמן שהחום מזין אותו אינו מת מחוסר מאכל. Meaning when a person has fever, he doesn't want to eat and he doesn't die from the fever. Orishina ushkechina abba the gana misavne tetivuta. They found Noach that he was in the Madora Tukal Mitzvah and he didn't come out to get the mazon. This is the urshina. It's an off. I don't know what type of an off. Mikra chol belashon mikra. It doesn't die. Okay. Elmaleh, he says, which one?
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay. Lo ba'im mizor why you don't need to eat. Elmaleh chaziticha davetzida. I see that you're very, very busy. Amina, I don't want to be mitzayir otcha. Elmaleh says Noach yeravad didot tamut olam. You should never die, and that's why he never dies.
Comes one every one. No, apparently the Phoenix come. They say once every 1,000 years.
Yeah. Okay. There you have it. So he says Shneimar va'omar yam kani yigva v'chol arbe yamin. So basically, he's going to have arichut yamin. Amar Rav Chana bar Levai, Amar Shem Rabba Eliezer. Ki atu alachu malchei mizrach u'ma'arav. When the kings of mizrach u'ma'arav are going to come, atu necha. What did you do? Amar le'eto Kadosh Baruch Hu Avram v'otvei mimineh. Kadosh Baruch Hu comes and he brought him, and kiviyachol he brought mimino. Avashadina nafra. They used to throw the afar, right? Vavucharbe gile vavgire, meaning that Avram Avinu used to come, and when they had all the kings coming to attack them, Avram Avinu used to throw afar, and they used to become cherevs. Imagine you take dirt, you throw it, it becomes swords, and it's killing out all the people that are attacking you. And he used to throw kash, pacha, he used to straw, and he used to become arrows. He used to kill out all the people, right, that they were attacking. Shneimar, mizmor leDavid, mizmor neum Hashem laDoni, shev limini adashit oivecha adom laglecha uti miiten meid mizach tzedek yikrau legrogo yiten lefanav goyim umlachim yad yiten kafar charbo kekash nidav kashto. So here it is, the pasuk showing you this. Nachum ish gamzu. That's a beautiful story. Nachum ish gamzu avaragil kol dava salkale. Anything that used to happen to him. This is a Gemara also in Ta'anit, if I remember, no?
Gamzu letova.
Yeah, Ta'anit kafalef amud aleph. Gamzu letova. He used to say gamzu letova yom echad ba'u right l'Yisrael l'shadur l'dolor l'kesad. They wanted to send a present to the Caesar. Amri, they said behadeh man nisha. Who are we going to send it with? They were going to send it with Nachum ish gamzu. So Blina, that tomorrow we'll continue with the story.